Hi, I'm Ness Bosch, and first of all, I would like to apologize because I'm trying to do this recording, and I have a massive cold, and my voice is not the best, but I'm going to try, so we can have this piece of my collaboration in English for the Congress. And also, I would like to apologize because, English is not my first language. So if I make any mistakes or don't take it into account, because my first language is Spanish. So, but well, I would like to talk today about the awakening of the witch. The entry into the magic circle and the ritual as a portal. As Dion Fortune said, magic is the art of provoking changes in consciousness at will. Based on that principle as the root of every magical act, we can say that the witch awakening occurs at the moment when we unconsciously act to produce a change in the course of our reality in this plane in order to achieve what we wish. And I say unconsciously also sometimes, because there are people who begins to act magically without actually having full consciousness about what they're doing. Just follow the guide of their need to satisfy a desire. Magic is with no doubt one of the most beautiful and interesting ways to reach a deep knowledge of the self-being and of what surrounds us and the different realities that exist. To open the door to magic is to open a door to your own soul, to the internal forces and reasons that move you to take a magical action, to know your personal being and energy limits. Being a witch or a sorcerer is putting on some kind of glasses that are going to increase your sensitivity and vision towards your everyday reality, kind of showing the mechanism that reality is built of, and since we use magic, we can go beyond and open the borders of the rational reality we live in. The first steps of the neophyte to the magic circle can sometimes, occur naturally without awareness or knowledge about what we're doing, really. As I said, guided by a need to enter or create a sacred space where we express our desire, the place where to connect with our inner need to manifest a change. From Babylon to Greece, through the Middle Ages and different tribal societies all over the world, the circle is, since ancient times, one of the most sacred forms. A place of respect, meditation, and protection, full of symbolism. The circle is a gateway to the magical or sacred act. Our magical success will depend, among other things, on our ability to open portals to these other realities, including, of course, bringing allies to this plane to support our work and intention. Somehow we will make no mistake in our steps towards this magical path we begin by integrating the ritual as one of the master keys of magic. As a ritualist myself, who works with magic of different traditions, including shamanics, perhaps it is the part that I enjoy the most, creating rituals, and it is also one of the greatest responsibilities. The structuring of a ritual will be of great importance when it comes to crossing these other realities effectively, to bring the sacred to your plane, to your reality, in a way that it's appropriate, with respect to the forces or energies that will be part of the magical work, making sure that we follow the steps so that it can be done safely for all the participants taking part of the ritual. When composing a ritual, we must be very clear about the magical intention behind it, the reason why we created, and try to capture in it all the necessary codes and elements so we can open without obstacles the portal that we desire, and that one that we can hold, we can hold the energy. Through the ritual, we all in one way or another become priests and priestesses, channels of the sacred. The entrance and exit of the magic circle, the ritual, in my point of view, are the main subjects that somebody that wants to enter the world of magic needs to start with. But what are the elements of a ritual now, and how can we structure a ritual to work in it? Well, in each tradition, there are so many different elements, and if we explore the many different traditions around the world, we're going to find that people work in very different ways, but also we're going to find that there are some that we can find some essential elements to work, and that we can use in a ritual, and definitely that we will part of a ritual altar. So, for example, I always have a dagger or a magic wand, and chalice will be another element that it will be like essential for me, and of course oils and incense, offerings of different kinds. A bell is also a common element that you can find in altars and part of the rituals. Candles and images related to the energies or deities that we want to work with. Also the bell we can replace by, this cold. The bell we can replace by a sistrum, for example, or tambourine if we wish. And also I recommend that if we're working with a certain deity or energy, sometimes we can prepare things in a special way just for them, like the incense, for example, or the oils. So one of the things we can do is explore and study about the deity, so we can find out which things relate to the deity or that energy in particular, so we can take into account when we prepare the altar. As I said, I also work, that's part of my main work, working as a shaman, and when I also I love working with altars in my shamanic work, and some of the elements I place in those altars. For example, I place my drum or one of my medicine rattles, and as well as elements that connect the altar with the energy I want to work with. No, for example, if I want to work with the frog medicine, I try to place frogs in the altar and tokens, and of course offerings are important. For me, tobacco has to always be in the altar for the shamanic works. Tobacco, and also I love flowers. I love having flowers in my shamanic altars as a symbol of beauty and for the work that we do it. Also, some other offerings like food for the spirits, and also for the ancestors. I normally also place my medicine bundle in my shamanic altars, where I have different medicine, herbs and crystals and tools and fetishes, and also a representation of the elements. And why not, if you have, talking about fetishes, if you have like things that are significant to you, and you want to place them in the altar to recharge or just catch the energy of the work, it's okay to put it, even elements that you use every day, like a bracelet or a necklace, a pair of earrings, and you can I normally invite the people who comes to the circles to place something that belongs to them to the altar. And I also like oils. I like oils. So that's more or less what I put in the altars. Sorry. Well, having said that about the possible elements that can be part of our ritual or our altars, I like to say that for me, in a magical way, we can make of any object, something totally sacred, if that's our intention, okay? And there is no need for something to be fancy or antique, or we can actually, that's magic, we can actually transform every single thing into magical and sacred. We cannot, I want to express, that we cannot depend of wherever we have a particular object or no to carry on with our magical work, okay? I remember one time I was working shamanically with somebody, and I was doing a very powerful extraction, and at one point the crystal I was using, it was so charged of negativity and dense energy that it was so heavy I could not hold it anymore in my hands. But I had the person fully open there for the work, and I wanted to continue extracting. I wanted to continue my work because it was a lot more to take out of the person. So I put my crystal aside, and I just had a quick look around the room because I was not in my house. And I saw on top of the fireplace, I saw this toy magic wand, fairy-like magic wand, made of plastic with a glitter in it. And you know what? I just look at that magic wand with the stars and glitter, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna use this. So I grab it, and I continue to do this massive shamanic extraction with a toy magic wand. and it did a wonderful work, and the extraction was amazing. So, you know, we need to continue with our work no matter what we have at hand, okay? And of course, that you're missing some elements, it does not have to be a stop for you to continue with your work, because as I said, the most unexpected object, it can be the perfect magic tool for your purpose, okay? So that was just an example, okay? So you got clear the message that about tools are important until to one point, okay? So in ritual, to perform a ritual, we have to, as I said, we have to be very clear about what we want to achieve, but also we need to meditate deeply on the code that we're going to print in the ritual, okay? It will be much easier for us when we want to do ritual work if we have a structure. Of course, everybody works according to their tradition, okay, or their magical schools. But I'm going to share with you what is my way to structure a ritual and the parts that I divide the ritual in. Sometimes I change the order of these parts, but more or less, I work first of all with purification, okay, like massive purification of the space and people attending the ritual, okay? Purification, to me, it always should be the first step for ritual work, okay? So once we do the purification, I normally proceed with opening the sacred space. And as I said, we can open sacred space in many, many ways. So you just use whatever suits you or your school is, and continue with the work. So after opening sacred space, I normally do a presentation of the intention of the ritual for the people that is attending, for the people that is attending, okay? Because normally, the people that comes to a ritual, they know what they're coming for, because maybe I have sent the information before, and they make questions and everything. But I think it's important to, it's important to present the intention of the ritual at this point, because also it's a way of putting out there into words what we want to achieve, okay? And the universe listens. So I will follow this part by doing a welcome to the spirits of the place, and maybe a small offering for the spirits of the place. It's very important to recognize and to honor the spirits of the place where we're working. And of course, a small offering for me is also important. So after that, I will work with an invocation, and after the invocation, I will present the offerings that I brought for that deity or spirit or energy. So I will present them with offerings. Offerings can take any form, We're talking like we can bring food or different objects, but also a poem can be an offering. And also, for example, using psychodrama, it's a beautiful way to do an offering to the deity. Okay, I just love psychodrama. I think it's a beautiful way to engage with the energy, and it's a beautiful way for people to engage with the work that is being delivered within the ritual. And so after that, I will do my petitions. You know, if I got a certain petition for God or the spirits, and then I open the space for oracles, because sometimes we know oracles is something that we cannot take for granted. Okay, we will not always get an oracle from a deity or a spirit, but I think it's also important to open the space for that, to receive an oracle. And sometimes it can happen during the psychodrama if you decide to perform one as part of your ritual. So oracles are always a gift from the gods. So we need to open the space for that as well. And after that, I will do a circle of prayers and for people to thank. And then, you know, we will close the ritual. So more or less, these are some of the steps I will take to prepare a ritual. Okay. And you know, there are easy steps, and that they just give you a good structure to work. And as I said, for me, structure is very important, because it holds also the ritual work and energy and everything. If you have a good structure, you will be able to hold the space better somehow. Well, at least I think so. When we talk about the reasons of why people try to pursue a magical path, is it of my opinion that you know, they can have many reasons to do so, but for me, I think that many enter this magical path because of power, okay, and others may do for the knowledge. In my case, to tell the truth, for me it was more of a need that I had as a child to somehow escape my own reality. Okay, so kind of the magical world opened up to me, the invisible world opened up to me, so I could actually leave this reality. And so for me it was like a gate that opened for me to escape somehow. And of course later on, when I acknowledge what I was and the path, you know, that opened up for me, because it took me a few years to accept what I was, and because I was very punished by being Spanish and having a very Catholic family and everything. I was quite punished by entering the realms of magic at such a young age. And I remember, I remember my mom. I was a teenager, and my mom, she even made me go to the priest and confess I was a witch. Yeah, it was like that. It was that hard. And I remember the priest even came to my house, because my mom asked him to bless the place, because her daughter was a witch. So it was that bad. So it took me a bit of time to sit down on my power and say, no, this is who I am, and I'm a dream walker. I'm a walker of realities, and I'm a magic person, and I'm a channel of the gods, and this is who I am. And it took me a bit, but once I accepted, for me the path was about knowledge. It was not about power. For me, it was about knowledge, because I have always been hungry for knowledge. I was a very avid reader since I was a little girl, and for me everything was about knowledge, to know, to gain consciousness of other realities, places, countries, dimensions. For me it was about knowledge. So whatever reason moves you to enter the world of magic, I think, in my opinion, that we need to take some things into account. No, magic can be as simple or complicated as we want it to be. We need to remember that there is free will. And I follow a code not to cause damage while trying to achieve what I want. And I think that the path of magic has to be walked from honor and from the heart. Magic is the greatest of all forms of art. And to me, it's important to learn how to defend oneself, because we never know what or who might try to harm us. But I tend not to attack. That's more or less my personal code. And everybody and every tradition have their own codes. So this is more or less mine. So well, I hope that I have thrown some light about the magical work, the way I understand it works, and for those who want to dive deeper, there are always paths, there are always ways. There are magical orders and covens and everywhere, and thanks to internet is where it's even greater, because you don't even need to live in a country to join a coven or magical order, which makes it easier for many people, because before we know that covens and magical schools were sometimes limited were sometimes limited for the people that were nearby, But thanks to the internet, we have this huge gate to other magical communities around the world, and I think it's fantastic. So my temple in Granada has its own magical order as well. Is the magical order of Baba Yaga. I fell in love with Baba Yaga when I was a little girl. I mean, like tiny little girl, reading Russian literature and story, myths and stories. And so, of course, my magical order had to be named after Baba Yaga. And of course, if you explore the internet, there is so much you can find. Okay, just be open, but also be aware. That's one of my recommendations. If you search online and try to find schools or covens or people with a serious background, and that has people that have good words about their work or about them. So that's just a little advice. And it is my time to go. I really hope you have enjoyed my contribution, and I hope you are enjoying this International Congress of Witchcraft and Magic. Please don't forget to listen and to all the contributors, because it's amazing what they're submitting, and I'm so looking forward to be able to present to you all, all the work we have been doing for the past few months. And yes, I think that's it. So I hope you enjoy, and my blessings. Bye.